My name is Alexis Woodruff. This is my informative speech, and this is my audience. I found this story on www.pitt.edu. Once upon a time, there was a small girl who was strong willed and forward, and whenever her parents said anything to her, she disobeyed them. How could anything go well with her? One day she said to her parents, I have heard so much about Freud Trade. Some day I want to go to her place. People say such amazing things are seen there, and such strange things happen there, but I have become very curious. Her parents strictly forbade her, saying Freud is a wicked woman who commits godless acts. If you go there, you will no longer be our child. But the girl paid no attention to her parents and went to Freud's place anyway. When she arrived there, Freud said, Why are you so pale? Oh, she answered, trembling all over. I saw something that frightened me. What did you see? I saw a black man on your steps. That was a charcoal burner. Then I saw a green man. That was a huntsman. Then I saw a blood red man. That was a butcher. Oh, Freud frightened me when I looked through your window and could not see you, but instead I saw the devil with a head of fire. Aha, she said. So you saw the witch properly outfitted. I have been waiting for you and wanting you for a long time. Light the way for me now. With that, she turned the girl into a block of wood and threw it into the fire. When it was thoroughly aglow, she sat down next to it and warmed herself by it, saying it gives such bright lights. Witch hunts were, and in some places still are, a genocide. There are many reasons why witch hunts took place. Things were published that explained who was behind these hunts and how they took place. Why was there a need for a scapegoat? According to Making Europe, populations were rising, leading to inadequate food supply and increased the need for employment. Populations increasing were a prosperous thing. They were good, but then it got to the point of overpopulation, and that made this food supply very limited, and people were looking for work, but there were not enough jobs for the amount of people. And not only was overpopulation affecting the food supply, the weather was as well. The temperatures had begun to drop and the winters had become wetter and longer. They called this period the Little Ice Age. The long winters made growing crops difficult and made people more susceptible to disease. Who were behind these hunts? Pope Innocent VIII wrote the Papal Bull of 1484, addressing his followers, telling them that there were men and women that could conjure spells that would do terrible things to them. He had these people convinced that all these terrible things would happen because these people had the ability to do these nonsensical things, and he gave his followers kind of the right to go after these suspected witnesses, and he identified ways to identify them and prosecute them. Legends like the one I told were also spread. So they were telling all these legends and all these stories of how these people were doing these things. And as well as they used these stories to explain why the weather was so bad and the economy was so bad because of these witches. And the Malleus Maleficarum was written to inform people of how they should capture and interrogate the suspected witnesses. It was like a handbook for this type of thing. How did they treat these people? What did they do to them? I went onto the departments.kings.edu website and went through the strategy game called A Witch Hunt in Germany 1628. It was very graphic, and the character was tortured with a strappado, a contraption that hangs you by your arms behind your head. They also used oil and fire to burn the skin. They also had these devices on the website that kind of crush your fingers and your bones. This is a picture of the strappado. At many points in history, things like this happen. There's bad weather conditions, the economy isn't doing well, and they try to find someone to blame these things on, like a group of people such as the witchcraft and the Nazism and things like that. We need to learn from these things and try to prevent it from happening in the future, not allow mass genocide, not allow people to do these things. Okay, my name is Alexis Woodruff, and this is my audience.